Kia ora, Aotearoa. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, if you are an All Blacks fan, you'll be very, very, very proud of this performance from the All Blacks, especially in the second half. Scott Robertson made a number of big changes to this game. Initially, Jordie Barrett wasn't even going to be on the bench. I actually thought the team looked a little bit light, and due to some late injuries, few players was caught up into the team late as well. And with the addition of Jordie Barrett on the bench, I actually felt a little bit more comfortable. And sure enough, turned out Jordie Barrett was the difference in the end to pull out the win for the mighty All Blacks. 29 points to 19. And yeah, great finish. The most impressive part, I think for me, I think for a lot of All Black fans as well, the All Blacks, especially in the second half, didn't just take an opportunity to kick 3 points and, make the scoreboard look better like they were doing a little bit last year, something that I kind of talked about in the past, and I really felt like that's something that's kind of holding back the team a little bit. And today, the All Blacks went out there, they just kept the pressure on in the second half until the French cracked, until Jordie Barrett found a soft shoulder on Taufifenua, went over, sending the debutant, Brodie McAllister, in for the try, for the win. And that's the spirit that we are used to seeing from the All Blacks. That's what the All Blacks used to do when the time gets tough, when the pressure becomes overwhelming. You turn up the heat even more, and you put even more pressure on, and you crack your opposition by sustained pressure. You either win, you go home trying, right? There's no excuse, as like Scotty Barrett did last year. Yeah, let's kick 3 points while we're 4 points behind against the French Stade de France. So I'm really glad that's kind of like the decision making, the mental switch for the All Blacks is finally being seen here. And in addition to a lot of the new players, a lot of the newcomers like Ruben Love getting shuffled into the ranks as well. He did a drop goal as well tonight. Just a lot of that, the kind of like new ideas, the allowing some of the new players to try new things. It's like, I think absolutely the right direction for the All Blacks. And speaking of that, I feel like sometimes the All Blacks get unfairly criticized for playing just an average performance a lot of times. For example, I would like to apologize for doing that myself. Sometimes I criticize the All Blacks for playing an average game. Really don't deserve to be criticized. Like, an average performance is not a bad performance, but because they are the All Blacks, the expectations are so high, you end up saying that it's a bad performance, and I think that's really unfair to the team, to the players. If you look at the French team tonight, they came in, they just throw the kitchen sink at the All Blacks. Legaric, what's the other guy? Hastoy was just literally throwing the kitchen sinks at the team, and then just, literally basically throwing darts on the board and see whatever sticks. He did drop kicks, he was kicking, he would do all sorts of kicking, and then he was just doing like literally everything he could to try to make a point of difference, to try to, find something out of the defense of the All Blacks attack. And that's something I think that the All Blacks, not because they can't do, a lot of times the All Blacks are not allowed to do, because, hey, if you do something and cost us the game, you're going to get crucified and potentially the end of your black jersey career, right? So I think that comes down to a lot of the criticism that should not be like just too heavily criticized for the All Blacks. And I really think that, including myself, should be more positive with the performances for the All Blacks. So I'm going to do that, a bit more positive for the All Blacks going forward. So yeah, I think that overall, this was, this shot, again, just like game one, the All Blacks actually, this is like a game of two halves almost. Just like game one, the All Blacks got drawn into that frantic, that chaotic, that what do you call it? That creating chaos style, that high tempo style of rugby, disorganized almost style of rugby that the French played in the first game. And the All Blacks got drawn into that. Lots of little mistakes. I really try to push the tempo a lot higher than they should be doing, and then playing out, doing a bit of a kicking that's not really properly thought out. And then in the second half, the team kind of like, especially just before the halftime, the team really got themselves, head back into the order, play the tempo that they wanted to play, and control the game and dominate the game in that second half. And yeah, great performance by the All Blacks. And then the French, I'm sure they'll be pretty happy because it's their B team. And it is just one of the things in rugby right now. The promotion of the sport in a global stage is a cost that all the nations have to pay. And for some reason, the French, especially the top 14, don't think it's their job. So they just let everybody else pay the cost of growing the game internationally, right? The growing the game in Japan, the growing the game in the Pacific Islands, the growing the game in the Americas. They're just not the French's job, right? They're just gonna take everything they can to grow their own team, and then let everybody else bear the cost of sending their team to grow this, to put up good shows, put up good games, and to develop the game as an international sport, right? So that's something I'll talk about in my last video. But in this video, I just want to talk about a little bit more detail on how the top 14 is actually running a business model that is anti-competitive, product. And I think that there is definitely an opportunity, potentially an opportunity for a lawsuit for anti-competitive product conduct here, because we saw a lot of this news that really kind of like breaks my heart a lot. The Fijian Enduro side, again this year, 5 players departing. Some of these guys going to France, some to Europe. Moana Pacific had an outstanding season this year. 15 players leaving the club. Obviously to various players, not just all to France, various reasons. But just it really breaks my heart a little bit. Like the Enduros, their fans really love rugby. Like every week they sell out, like in Fiji. And apparently the fans were telling me that the tickets were like extremely expensive, and they still sell them out because how much they love the rugby. And last year the Fijians actually made it into the quarterfinals, and then this year they were like pretty much right down the bottom of the ladder, because last year a lot of the players got poached overseas, and once again this year 5 of the players are leaving because of bigger money overseas. Now some of the French fans has to be telling me that, hey, the French rugby is offering these contracts, giving these players money. What's wrong with that? We're, literally helping the sport grow by giving these players opportunities. We help the teams grow by putting money into the islands. Australia and New Zealand were both funded, Moana Pacifica and Fijian Enduro, and the governments as well, the New Zealand government, Australian government, and the Fijian government all put money into these teams to try to grow the sport in the island, to try to give the fans that it's a team that they can support and be proud of, and show up every week and buy out every ticket at extortionate prices to give the fans what they want. That's what we do to grow the sport. What you guys do is take the players who become successful, who's given that opportunity to play for the Enduros, and you take them away to reduce the competitiveness of these teams. And in business, that is called misuse of market power. You are positioning yourself to stifle the competition by taking away talent from them and claiming that it's, financially better for the players. But you actually, unlike us, where we give money to them to stay, you spend your money to take them away. You actually engaging in anti-competitive practices to reduce your competition. And now you might be saying, well, look, the French business model makes a lot of money. It's not their fault that they're making more money than you. Well, technically, they're being subsidized by the rest of the world, like I just explained, for not paying the cost of developing the sport as an international game. Now, look, let's look at the scheduling for the sports, right? Premiership, English Premiership, 18 rounds plus the 2 rounds in finals, so 20 rounds. URC as well, 18 rounds plus the finals, or 20 rounds. Super Rugby is 17 rounds, including the finals. There's only about 15 rounds without the 14 rounds without the finals. And then the top 14, if you look at it, 26 weeks plus the finals, 3 rounds in the finals. So a team could be playing 29 weeks for the top 14. And there's no surprise. I don't blame them that their players not allowed to play in the July International Test Series, because they do need a break. Because the top 14 literally abuses the players to the absolute limit. And then they say, oh, player safety, we can't let them play. Because you put them in this position. You should be allowing them to have more breaks or have a shorter season so they can play test rugby. Now, there's more to it than that, right? Now, obviously, if you have a longer season, you can negotiate bigger TV deals. You can negotiate better partnerships, more sponsorship money, and you can, have more money to poach more players from overseas. Then you can lock them in for another 26 weeks and say that, hey, we're gonna give them a break. you know, you can't play Test rugby, right? You're literally taking everything that the taxpayers pay for, everything that other countries are paying for these players to become professional rugby players so they can play, you know, the pathways, putting them up to the international test level, and all of that value is just being kept to these private clubs at the top 14. And it goes a little bit more than that as well. So I found an article that breaks down the top 14's income. There is another reason why the top 14 lets you have the B team coming out because of resting periods. Because apparently the French clubs are getting subsidized per player that wears the national jersey. So they are literally stealing money from their own government. So it's like, obviously we can't put the A team out. You can take all the shit players that can't make the A team, and you're gonna pay us more money because now we have more national players from a club that's involved in the national team. They're like literally stealing money from their own nation. Like, you know, extra money depending on how many players they're supposed to they're supplied to the French national team. And France operate a national squad of 42, larger than most other countries. Like, they literally take money from the government by doing this as well. It's just really absurd. So obviously you have longer season, which allows you to have more TV money. You have longer season, which allows you to have more, like, you know, sponsorship, more money everywhere. And then you lock the player in so they can't play Test rugby, right? So we make less money as a result because, when we go negotiate our TV rights and our sponsorships, they can look at, hey, look, the July Test series literally you didn't really make much money, and nobody showed up to the French, the viewership is lower, then we're gonna get less money, and we having less money means that we can't pay our players, we can't fund as much money into the Fijian Jura sides, and then leaving more opportunities for the French to poach our players. I mean, you talk about anti-competitive conducts, right? It's pretty obvious. There's like a major breach of competitive conducts here from the French top 14. But hey, if I'm New Zealand rugby, in fact, if I'm any rugby region, right? If you're in the English Premiership, if you're in URC, you should be looking into this as well, because the French clubs are taking your players as a result of that. That subsidy that they're getting from us, that they're abusing the system from us, right? Anyway, that's my little rant about that top 14 issue. Let's have a look at some of the stats of the game. So first up, the All Blacks 4 tries to 1. The French was really just trying to get any points on the scoreboard. At one point, Hastoy was just kicking goals left and right, drop goals left and right. But the French, the B team came out and definitely played the best that they could. They, throw the kitchen sink at the All Blacks. But it is a shame because this is very, very likely that if you have actually brought your A team, you could have won this one and taken a historic series like the Irish did, and everybody's gonna be remembering this for decades to come. But hey, it's I guess you're gonna wait another 4 or 5 years to become the New Zealand again. It is just what it is, wasted opportunity, and the top 14 gets to reap the benefit of all of that for themselves. But it is what it is. By the way, right, the French public, you pay all the you pay your taxes, and then the money goes into the national team. You really don't want the subsidies to go to like the players in the second team, because the top 14 wants them to make more money out of the government, out of your taxpayers' money. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Anyway, moving on. The All Blacks 486 meters to the French 278. The second half defense was just brutal. The All Blacks just pounded the French just relentlessly for the second half. 196 carries to the 98 for the All Blacks. 127 tackles made for the All Blacks, 9 missed tackles. Really well done. The French are pretty good completion rate as well. 297 tackles, almost 300, and only 22 missed tackles there. It only took Jordy Barrett to finally slip through to get a try. 25 kicks to play for the All Blacks, 30 for the French. 1 miss for David McKenzie, 1 drop goal from Ruben Love, missed 2 drop goals by Stoy. 1 he actually got one penalty missed by Garrick there as well. Kicks meter from hand, 741 from the All Blacks, 884 for the French. The All Blacks had more kick meters last game, like 1,300 or something, to the French 1,000. So both teams has reduced some of that kick meters and have opted to more of I guess, a tactical kicking in that regard. The lineouts, the All Blacks, Brody McAllister really struggled a bit in the second half. The lineouts, it was looking pretty bad, but then he actually pulled himself together. A few losses in the second half of the All Blacks there, 4 losses out of 15 overall, 1 loss for the French out of 7. The scrum was really dominant, especially in the second half, which was a good thing for the All Blacks. I thought Angus Garner could probably give in more penalties as a scrum dominance for the All Blacks, but yeah, that was something I guess really good for the All Blacks to be proud of. 7 penalties overall, pretty good discipline there for the All Blacks. 11 for the French, not too bad there either, but the All Blacks was more than happy to just play the ball and keep the pressure sustained throughout the game. Let's do a quick recap of the game before this video gets out of hand in terms of length. So, yeah, the French actually did something really well this game, just holding players up. There was 4 tries being held up against the All Blacks, and yeah, just something that I think the All Blacks have to maybe, I don't know, maybe think about how they're going to carry maybe some of the body position, maybe some of the methods that they want to pursue when it comes to those really close pushovers, the carries, how they want to have a look at that in training, I guess. So yeah, talk about 8 minutes on the clock for the French to actually score the first try. The All Blacks look a bit out of it, like look a bit frantic at the beginning of the game. There was a penalty. The French went for the line out, and then Garrick did a little went through the blind side and then did a little dummy and go and went in for the try. 7 points to 0. 19 minutes in the game. The All Blacks was making a lot of mistakes as well. There was what do you call it? There was basically there was like their own their kickoff was really bad again. Just could not. It was basically like a kickoff, and then they just like got the turnover and the immediate penalty to the French and kicking out of 3, 10 points to 7. 21 minutes in the game, the All Blacks looking like they're going to be out of ideas, but there was a little kick behind by Damien McKenzie. Will Jordan chased this one up and grounds it for the try. 7 points to 10. 24 minutes again, right from the kickoff. Another penalty another turnover for the French, and then a drop goal from Garrick. 7 points to 13. 30 minutes of the game, there was a penalty for the All Blacks. It's finally decided to take 3. 10 points to 13. 32 minutes in the game, another penalty to the French, kicking out of 3. 16 points to 10. 36 minutes of the game, another penalty to the French. 19 points to 10. The scoreboard is really starting to open up and heading to halftime. By the All Blacks, the mighty All Blacks, kept their heads on a screw, I guess. How do we say it? Yeah, kept their heads together. And they're really just before halftime when they had a penalty, they went for the line out, just really, went at it for a very long time, and then they went for the right-hand side, and then swung back to the left, a little backdoor play, and then Anton Leonard-Brown straightened up, a little step straight, and then slides through for the try. 19 points to 17 halftime, All Blacks down by 2. Second half starts, 2 minutes in, Hastoy went for another drop goal, and he missed that. 48 minutes, another penalty to the All Blacks, Garrick missed this one, so 6 points potentially left by the French. 58 minutes again, another grabber kick by Damien McKenzie behind. This was a ball that the French look at, he scooted up in the goal line, and he just popped out of his hand as there was a bit of a scramble for the ball, and then Karefi followed through, picked up the loose ball for the try. 22 points to 19. The All Blacks finally squeezed out ahead. With about 20 minutes left, the All Blacks had penalties that could have kicked 3, but they denied. They went for the line out. They went for a little more. The French was again and again holding up the All Blacks before the try line or turning the ball over, not able to score. And it was looking like the All Blacks maybe should have taken the 3. Ruben Love went for a 40-meter drop goal and missed that as well. Everything is getting me desperate. And then the big gun, the big boy, Jordie Barrett, stepped up the play. The All Blacks just controlled tempo, and then Jordie Barrett saw a soft shoulder on Taufifenua. Stiff arm went through, inside ball to McAllister, slides through for the try. 29 points to 19. Massive win for the mighty All Blacks. Thanks for watching this video. Like and comment, subscribe, and have a good one. I'll see you guys for the Lions game in a few hours, and have a good one. Cheers.